and it does help you when you come to do your own. So I would recommend getting involved with that program for anyone who is feels like they'd like to. And there's just some of the organisation at the bottom that have been reaccredited. Wider program update. There is the Future Focus Finance is still promoting the NHS finance careers. So I think this is the website, and this is the web page, and it's had 17,000 more users this year, which is really positive. And I think it's still one of the top rated ones that comes up when you Google search for accounting as well. So that's positive. The Value Maker Conference is the 19th of November. I believe there are still face-to-face tickets, and there are virtual tickets as well. So they've been able to open it up online. There were some concerns that wouldn't be possible due to budget constraints this year, but it is available both in person and online again. There's been some excellent and good feedback from previous face conferences, and on the 11th of November, there is another demystifying NHS finance. So these are the training sessions for non-finance staff, and I believe the dates for next year are all published in advance, as they are really popular and they get booked up really quick. So they've got all the dates for the rest of this year and all of next year are available on the website if you want to encourage people to book on. And then in terms of the supporting staff element, there's the mock interview scheme is still going. So if anyone would like to be involved or would like to volunteer as an interviewer, you can get in touch with the Future Focus Finance team. The staff survey organized. So this is around the information that One NHS Finance collect. Appraisals is a continuing area that warrants improvement that comes from the staff survey. So I think there's some training and some specific survey and learning that that the team wants to do about appraisal. So please get involved with that if you can. I'm sure everyone's got their own internal pushes for this year's staff survey as well. So this will be based on last year's results. And there are some monthly health and wellbeing webinars. So I believe these are the ones that are externally funded. So they're they're externally paid sessions. So they're not recorded back. But if you sign up to them, they are meant to be really good, and there's been really positive feedback to them. So if you can, I would encourage you to sign up to these webinars. And the culture series for the diversity network are looking at sort of expanding more. So if you've got anything that you feel you could input there, that is ongoing at the moment. In terms of surviving and thriving, this is a workshop. This is a program that was launched at the Leadership Summit. There's tools and templates to support organisations in financial recovery and more generally around supporting your staff and well-being. You need an NHS email address to access it. So that's the only restriction on that. And this is just obviously the link to the webpage with some of the resources that are available. So it's all there, and you can just see some of the different toolkits they've got. In addition, there's some information from the One Lancashire and South Cumbria group and some of the work that they've done with One NHS Finance to support change and waste reduction. So next things at the moment is for in terms of that program is to the outreach and sort of feedback. So requesting more support on cash management. So they're looking at how they can develop this. There is we're looking at how we put on more training to go alongside that resource and embedding the themes that have come out of that in upcoming programs, as well as raising awareness. And there is AI bots are being developed for One NHS Finance. So hopefully at the next session, we should have some of a presentation on some of them and we get a bit more involved, but they are up and running at the moment if you want to access any of the AI bots. For the Finance Innovation Forum, the monthly process regarding the launch of AI and learners is diaried for April, so there is some more training resource available for that. There were 12 innovations in the last cohort, so please check them out on the website. And obviously there's the next innovation showcase is the 20th of November if anyone wants to sign up for that. So this is an AI pipeline, so you can see the first 4 of those are the AI bots that have been developed by One NHS Finance so far, and then we have the last 3 that are currently in development at the moment. So these are progressing as we speak. They are available online, and the others will come on as they are developed and tested. So please go and use them, and we will have more on these in future sessions as well. National Finance Academy, they've restarted the Women in Leadership program in September, so that is sort of ramping up again, and they're trying to get more engagement with that program. There's an updated competency list that's being produced, so that should have been published last month. The Insight Placement Scheme has been shortlisted for HSJ Award for Workforce Innovation of the Year. So this is the scheme about getting underprivileged people into NHS roles from school. So I know in the Northwest we do have our apprenticeship scheme, which is viewed that we tend to focus more on that than the Insights program in the Northwest, but this is the national program that's seen a lot of upward social mobility, I think particularly coming out of London as well. There's some sessions that took place in September for new starters, some Insights inductions, and the accelerated deputies and in first post CEO programs available as well. So you can see sort of support for sponsorship training on there as well. So that's it from the One NHS Finance updates. I'm sorry, I've probably rattled through them, but there was a lot to cover there. So I think next on our agenda, so I've got the Christie up next for their health and wellbeing. So if I hand over to Sarah and Ellie for the health and wellbeing section.
Thanks, Gavin. Sarah, are you okay to share slides?
Yes. Just give me 1 second. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Okay, so just to introduce ourselves, so my name's Ellie Berryman. I'm the Senior Lead on Health and Wellbeing Work Group, and I'm Assistant Director of Finance for Financial Management at the Christie. And Sarah, do you want to introduce
so I'm
yourself?
Sarah Yates. I'm also one of the leads on the Health and Wellbeing Special Interest Group, and I'm the Financial Services Manager.
So thanks for the opportunity to talk to you today on everything wellbeing at the Christie. So everything we've got to show you is by no means a finished product, but I just think it's good to kind of start something, kind of share it with the team, and then it's then easier to kind of continue to adapt and build as you go. Next slide, please, Sarah.
It's not, oh, there we go.
Oh yeah, there we go. So our Wellbeing Special Interest Group has 8 members, and it's made up of staff from all teams across finance. And I think importantly as well, they're all in a range of roles. So I think we get a really good variety of input and ideas from everyone. So when we initially set up the Special Interest Group, we made a conscious decision that attendance to be part of the group isn't mandatory. And I think then following on from that, the reason why the group works is quite simple. Everyone's there because they want to be part of it. So their effort is genuinely driven with an aim to support the colleagues and just improve their well-being. And then the philosophy then is simple. So everything we do is just to support our staff, and more from like a human to human perspective. We're not looking to chase any metrics, but we're just simply trying to look after each other. And then following on from that, we believe that we're kind of trying to change culture here. So I think it's small incremental changes. And if that's then fueled by like genuine and consistent efforts, the aim is that we'll eventually truly embed wellbeing into the core of our team's culture. And then, as with anything, lots of smaller changes then amount to something that's much larger and much more powerful. Next slide, please. So anyone that knows me knows I just love a bit of structure. I think it really highlights kind of what you set out to do, and then it's easier to kind of navigate your way through it along the way. So we set a wellbeing charter. So this is kind of just to ensure that any efforts that we put in weren't just random acts of kindness. And we created this document and shared it with the team. So what this outlines is like a formal commitment. So it's what the wellbeing group offers. And I think it then provides a clear roadmap for us planning ahead. And within the charter, it's got some specific actions and commitments. So we hold a monthly fitness challenge, and we set it with a focus that it can be inclusive to all staff. You know, it can be adapted for them, what works for them. We have monthly topics that we share information on, and we make sure this is linked to national campaigns, so it's relevant. We've committed to hold an annual wellbeing week, quarterly newsletters. And then within the document as well, we've kind of got some principles that we outline, which are accepted rules, I guess, that promote staff, that we promote to staff. And it's kind of around reducing email traffic and time we spend in meetings. So by having all of this framework, then it allows us to clearly plan, measure, and then deliver on everything that we've committed to achieve. And I think fundamentally, this charter is also supported by the finance leadership team. So the commitment from them is vital, and I think it really highlights the importance of wellbeing to the team, and then also allows them to lead by example by getting involved as well. Next slide, please. Thanks. So we've got the charter, which is a Word document, but behind that we just to make sure it actually works and it does what it sets out to do, we built a wellbeing work plan that sits behind it. So it sounds probably more fancy than it is. Obviously, it's an Excel file, but it kind of serves as our single source of truth for the wellbeing team. And we use it as an agenda structure for the wellbeing meetings to help keep us focused and on track. So we find this critical because it takes all the actions and commitments that are outlined in the charter and lays them out split by month. And then it just helps us so we can showcase what's coming up. So we obviously plan months in advance. We can see a summary of upcoming events and topics. And obviously we've got content in there for the wellbeing week, and then we can easily lift all the information out of here and showcase it to the team if we, you know, when we're producing our newsletters and you know, just sending team updates out. It's really easy to highlight the achievements that we've made. So because we've got a record in one place, again, we can really demonstrate or easily demonstrate the real impact that the wellbeing group is having. And I think it just drives transparency as well. So I think it reinforces the credibility of the charter and then shows that we're consistently delivering on the commitments that we originally set out and promised to the team. I'm going to hand over to Sarah for.
Thank you, Ella. Sorry. Yeah, so we've got the charter setting the plan, and we've got the workbook documenting the actions. So in order for us to foster daily community and make this initiative feel fun and relevant, we set up a dedicated health and wellbeing channel on Teams. So all staff are included and new starters are added as an action on their local induction checklist. So the channel is key to our culture shift because it's organic. It provides a space for genuine peer-to-peer connection. Team members use it to share photos, posts, whether it's proof of the daily walk that they've been on, their efforts in the monthly fitness challenge, a picture of a healthy lunch that they've prepared, or just something that's made them smile. So it kind of mimics social media, which is a familiar format that makes sharing easier and more instant, and it fosters a sense of community that makes our staff, you know, that they're already comfortable with. So it protects time as well, because by using the channel to communicate, we're actively reducing the volume of emails hitting already busy inboxes. and we're moving the conversation out of the mandatory domain of the email and into a space that staff can dip in and out when they've got time and if they choose. So the channel is where the human side of the initiative truly shines, proving that wellbeing is a shared, organic daily journey, and it's not just like a tick box exercise or a one-off annual event. So we also embed health and wellbeing into our culture through monthly themes, initiatives and fitness challenges, which we try and align, like Ellie said before, with national campaigns. This sort of keeps things topical, ensures relevance and promotes inclusivity for our predominantly remote team. So we do try and adapt to whatever we set to do so that anybody of any ability can join in. So here's some examples of what we've done in recent months. So in July, we had a walk and talk meeting. So this is where we encouraged everyone, when screen time wasn't needed on a call, to take at least one meeting outdoors. So we suggested to either meet in person or take a walk and talk, take the call on a mobile device. So the idea was to promote fresh air, keep moving and reduce the amount of time sat behind your desk. In September, in support of mental health awareness, we encouraged the team to take a mindful walk. Again, the idea with this was to use time to reflect on gratitude and what you're thankful for. And we, again, encourage people to do it either alone, with colleagues, or even with family members. The idea behind it was to help build emotional resilience and encourage open conversations about mental health. So we do lots of fitness challenges, and our most recent one was a fitness variety challenge, where we encouraged the team to try something totally different to their usual routine. So that was to kind of promote variety and stress reduction, and we had a whole varied different challenges that people chose to do. We had netball, somebody was part of a dance show, and we even had somebody who attended a football match. So it was like just really varied. So all of these, again, were designed to be inclusive and could be adapted for remote working and for all abilities. So in addition to these ways of communicating, we still produce a quarterly newsletter. And the idea is to keep everyone informed, share resources and highlight upcoming opportunities and events. It helps maintain engagement and visibility across the team in the traditional email style way, but without clogging up everybody's inboxes. We are currently in the process of, I won't say planting, setting up a gratitude tree in the shared office space. So this will be a place where the team can post good news, positive stories, thank you notes, compliments, or anything else that they'd like to share. And obviously they can do it anonymously, or they can put their name to it if they're comfortable to do that. So our biggest event of the year is our annual Health and Wellbeing Week, which is next scheduled for late January 2026. So it will be a mix of guest speakers, interactive sessions. It could be like desk yoga, a mindfulness session, and then we'll have some fun activities like quizzes, guess who or what this is, and then we'll have like coffee catch-ups and a whole variety of different activities. We'll send out calendar invites for each event throughout the week. And this means that staff can then dip in and out and attend as much or as little as they've got time for, depending on what their schedules allow. We also do health and wellbeing action days, where we just do a trimmed down version of our action week and we just do it over one day. So looking ahead, we're committed to continuous improvement and learning from others across the various networks that we all attend. We want to share our ideas, adopt best practices, and keep wellbeing at the heart of our culture. Some of our upcoming initiatives include, so this month, it's now Movember, we'll encourage conversations about men's health and wellbeing, share resources and tips for early detection, mental health support and healthy lifestyle choices. We're going to do Fresh Air Fridays, where each Friday we'll encourage the team to step away from the desk, to go outside for fresh air, whether it's a short walk, a coffee break outdoors, or just time in nature, as we believe this promotes mental clarity and reduces stress. So as with all of our initiatives, we focus on sustaining engagement within the team and maintaining wellbeing throughout our remote work environments through movement and mental health awareness. So that's it from us for now. Has anybody got any questions?
Thanks, Sarah. If we can move over to Jenny and then come back and do questions.
Yeah,
so there's a
that's
session at the
fine.
end, if that's okay.
That's fine.
Jenny, are you okay? Do you want to share anything, or are you just talking through the session?
Yeah, I'll just share some slides now.
And thank you, Sarah and Ellie. That's a really good session. It's really helpful to see some of the things you're doing.
No problem.
Can everyone see that okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. So hi, my name's Jenny White. I've just come to talk to you today about the sponsorship programme. So the sponsorship programme provides career support to NHS finance staff for people that are from unrepresented groups or levels. So it was originally set up just for Band 8A and above, but it's now open to all grades. So a little introduction about myself. So I've been in NHS finance now for 20 years from October, so quite a long time. I've worked across lots of different organisations, from commissioning and NHS provider organisations. So I'm currently working in the Walton Centre as the head of finance for neurology. Really enjoying my role. And I've been on the sponsorship programme for 5 years. So it was originally set up to join for 2 years, but there's a number of us that have ended up staying on a little bit longer because I've really enjoyed the programme. I originally joined the programme because I kind of got a point in my career that I wasn't kind of sure what I wanted to do next. I felt like I needed a bit of direction and support to help me to decide really what I wanted to do. So this is around my journey. So I originally joined in 2020 as a sponsee, and I was matched with a sponsor. So I've had 3 sponsors since being on the programme, so I've been really, really lucky. So my first sponsor I had for 2 years, he was Nick Cashew, so he was a great sponsor and offered me really good support. And we've done loads of various things, which I'll come on to next. And after 2 years of being on the programme, I felt like I needed to give back because I had the benefit of the programme, so I set myself up to be a sponsor myself. And then I also switched to a new sponsor. And then I've got really much more involved with the programme. So our lead from the Northwest, Lorraine, she was wanting some more support when she joined last year, and basically myself and Busher are now the lead for the Cheshire and Mersey programme lead. So we've got more involved in trying to set up and plan champion and work for the programme going forward. And then more recently, I've switched to a new sponsee and sponsor myself. So really, what's really great about the programme, you've had access to really great people. So I've had 2 finance directors and a chief exec. So I suppose when would you kind of get access to that? And it's great that they dedicate their time. And I've obviously offered my time being a sponsor and supported 2 other people, and currently supporting a person at the moment. So I think the benefits I've got out of the programme, I think it's really helped me build my confidence over the last few years. I've been successful. I've got a couple of new roles. I've moved on, and I've also kind of crossed faced barriers across some sectors as well. So I think the first role I moved across from commissioning to provider, and sometimes quite difficult when you haven't got that relevant experience when you're going to interviews and you're against other people that have. So that my sponsor basically helped me to navigate, put me, my best forward in my interview skills and helping me with some practical skills like CV, application writing, and presenting various things like this. Over the time, so we meet monthly across the Northwest, and there's also quarterly national meetings where all the sponsees join in, and some people like myself that are now sponsors. So it really helps to grow your network across the NHS organisations, and I've made some real good friendships as well over the years, and I think we all call on each other when we need to, because we're all trying to, a bit like the values, we're all trying to do the same thing. So it's that network of people that you can ask questions and support, and you know, myself, I'm there to provide that back as well. I've had loads of different opportunities to shadow at meetings, some more senior meetings that I suppose has really helped in my development and my leadership skills. So Carolyn Woods was one of my sponsors, so give me some insight at some of the North West Ambulance meetings and how some of the meetings are run, and myself as well. I've given opportunities to my sponsees to come and join some things and shadow myself and the organisations I have worked at. I think it's just give me encouragement to put my hands up for things, because sometimes it can be a bit daunting to do things, but I think what's the worst can happen? It's always good just to put your hands up and, you know, put yourself forward to things, and help like you be a bit more resilient as well, because sometimes you do get knockbacks when you go for a job and you don't get it, and someone beats you to it. It's really helping you, that person, to give you that resilience and to kind of look back and what can you do better, what would you do next time, and help you move forward and things. So as I said, I've had 3 different sponsors, and I think they've all given me something different. They're all quite different characters. I think they've all given me something. I've had males and females, different kinds of personalities, and I think they've all given me different views and perspective. I mean, some people have stayed with the same sponsor, but I think sometimes it is good to swap over, because they'll give you something a little bit different, but it's obviously up to yourself and the person who's sponsoring you. So as I said before, after being on the programme for 2 years, I think it was really good for me to give something back, and I'm really passionate about making sure everybody gets a fair chance of progression, and obviously this is what the sponsorship programme's all about. I wanted to develop myself more in my leadership, you know, getting some feedback and reflection, and learn from my sponsor. And I've also had a lot being a sponsor myself as well, because I feel you get so much back by giving to others and getting that feedback and reflection, and it's really helped me build my network further going forward. So things I've done for my sponsees, so give them some shadow opportunities. So Imogen, the lady I sponsor at the moment, so we both went to the sponsorship summit. So she was wanting some opportunity at public speaking. So we done a session together, and I think that was the first time she kind of presented at anything. So I think she found that quite useful. And just yesterday, actually, she visited my trust at the Walton Centre. So I set it up to go and visit theatres and to observe a procedure in our organisation. And a few of my colleagues sat with her and kind of explained some of their role. And she joined one of my meetings, with my divisional meeting, to just give it a little bit of exposure, what we could do. And I think it's just being that person, supporting somebody, and giving them an encouragement. And if they're a little bit unsure of things, you know, help to give them the confidence, really. The previous person, I helped my previous sponsee. I spent quite a lot of time with him doing some more practical things because he was wanting to move on and progress to a new role. I think when he first joined myself, he wasn't quite sure what he wanted to do and where he wanted to go next. So I was kind of had some sessions with him, helped him to focus, helped him with his CV and applications once he was a bit more clearer what he wanted to do. And then he decided to go for the income role. So we kind of invited him over where I worked at the time in my previous organisation. And I'd actually never worked in income myself. So I kind of pulled on a colleague, could they be part of like a mock interview panel to kind of help him and tailor the questions so they specifically for the income role what he was going for the following week. And I think that really worked well, and it was great he actually got that promotion. He did have some knockbacks before that, but I think it was just being there and I've been there myself, so sitting with them and kind of doing that reflection. I think, what questions have you, make sure you get feedback and what could you do better, and just work with your sponsees to build their confidence. So I think what's worked well, like build trust. So I think when you first meet, I think you've got to set some ground rules, and obviously make sure you have regular contact and regular meetings to build up your trust. And I think with them initial ground rules, make sure you're open and honest and approachable, and set that out in the first instance really. And open to feedback. I've always said to my sponsees, if things are not working, what could we do better? So I think feedback's got to go both ways really. And have an agenda to focus the sessions. I've been quite lucky with both my sponsees. The person I'm sponsoring at the moment, Imogen, she's really, really, really organised, which is great. Probably keeps me on track, to be honest. So it's good if you know what you're meeting with and you can make use of the time, really. And both take away them actions from, I know it's difficult when people are busy, but if you've agreed to do something, obviously you've committed to time to support people. So you've got to make sure you both take away and complete them actions. Or and I think some of these other things I talked about before, obviously some practical things, shadowing opportunities, involving others, a bit like what I said before about that mock interview. I wasn't the expert, so be open to draw others in, and just be that person to provide support for any setbacks, and and myself as a sponsee learn from any mistakes. And I always try to direct my sponsees, so if there's any training that might be relevant for them coming up. I mean, we're really lucky here, aren't we? We've got loads open to us, and I know things are busy and there's a lot of change going on at the moment, but just to direct them really, because they might not be aware what everything's available and open to them. So some of the challenges, a lot of things like today we're on MS Teams, which is great for time, but I think it's really important, not in every session for practical reasons, but to make sure you meet in person. And I do think that really helps to build up in trust. So build it in when it's ever practical really. Obviously we were both at the sponsorship summit. We met yesterday, and my previous sponsee, we met in person. And I know time is always going to be a challenge. It's very busy and there's a lot of asks coming to us with all the financial challenges. But obviously, you've just got to plan well. Oh, sorry. So what supported me as a sponsor? I think if anybody who's thinking about setting themselves up as a sponsor, the NHS Finance actually run training sessions, which is great. There's normally a series, and it's a good way to meet other sponsors as well, to provide some of them sessions too. Yeah, and there's time for basically questions as well if you're a bit unclear of things. So it provides a good network which you can build on already. I think what helped myself is being a sponsee before I actually become a sponsor. You don't have to be, and you don't even have to have any mentored or coached anyone before, but I think it did help me because I'd kind of lived that experience, and it helped me because I'd been there. Yeah, and I think we all say we listen, but are we really actively listening? So I suppose I've always dedicated if we've got an hour slot, don't be looking at emails, actually make sure you're focusing that time for your sponsee really, and being there as their support for them. And there might be sometimes that you have to rearrange because something urgent's come up, that's fine, but I think it's being in the room and actually seeing and focus on what they need to do. And then I think being open, a little bit vulnerable. So, I've shared that I've had setbacks myself, that, I'm not necessarily an expert on everything. But, there's people I can draw in that have got that experience. So I think being open and honest with them, and also, just, really saying that's okay, that you're not an expert in everything, but there is people you can draw on, and making that clear to them. So that's all really. I don't know if anybody's got any questions. You might want to go back to the other presentation first. Well, thanks for listening.
Thanks, Jenny. So we've overrun a little bit, but we've still got a little bit of time for questions. So has anyone got a question for either session? I've got a couple, but I will open the floor up first to let anyone else ask their questions.
I do, Gavin, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks very much. This is for Sarah and Ellie. Thanks very much for your presentation. That was really, really interesting. It's nice to see that there's a collective, and a team involved in that. How did you get engagement from others in the team? Because obviously at the Walton Centre we have got quite a small department, but I would like to try and get more people involved in it. So how did you sell it basically?
Do you want me to start, Sarah?
Yeah, go on, you can do.
I think it is at first, I think we found it tricky. So I think setting out kind of, I'm more than happy to share it, but kind of the charter document which says this is what the Health and Wellbeing Group does, and this is our commitment, what we're going to do on an ongoing basis. And for me, it's like, because you're changing culture and you want it to be genuine. I suppose initially you just have to kind of keep going and keep putting things out there, and bit by bit we just keep getting we've had new people wanting to join the group, because they see what we do and they want to give back. And when we're popping things on the Health and Wellbeing channel, every so often you'll get someone who hasn't posted before and they'll put it on, and we're like, yeah, it's like, feels like a massive win. So I think it does take time, is what I've seen from our side, and it's just that, being clear on what what you're trying to do, and then just being consistent with the efforts and like the structure bit behind it. And it is a bit of a gradual process, but it is slowly snowballing, and it's just lovely to see, because that's the reward, isn't it? Did you want to add anything, Sarah?
Yeah, no, just exactly what you've said. And it's like about not giving up, just keeping going. We've done it for quite a few years now. And I feel like we're only just, kind of getting the engagement that we hope we would get from people. So, and like Ellie said, when somebody posts in the channel that wouldn't perhaps usually, you feel like it's a great, a big win. It's really good. So yeah, just keep going.
Thanks very much. I appreciate it. Are you both okay if I reach out to you just for a bit of advice?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I think like what I said at the beginning, so where we are, it's not perfect by any means, and we're always keen to kind of take ideas from other, other organisations and keep it fresh, and it is also just a nice opportunity to network, isn't it, and meet new people in this kind of sharing best practice. So yeah, absolutely.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you both very much. I appreciate it. Thanks, Gavin.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? I've got one for Jenny. So when you talked about your journey as a sponsee and changing sponsors, was there ever any awkwardness in that, or how did that work? I know I'm a sponsee and I've had 2 different sponsors, but the first one naturally came to an end. So it wasn't like there was no awkwardness to it because it just naturally ended. And then I started a new one a year or so later on that journey. So how did that work for you? Was there any conflict there, or was it how did you manage that transition?
No, I think mine was pretty similar, to be honest. I think it just kind of did naturally come to an end, both from my experience as a sponsee and sponsoring somebody, because I think because I kind of sometimes you have a goal of what you're trying to achieve, and then you probably need to pull on your sponsor at different times. So I think so sometimes when I'd like swapped roles, I was probably leaving less support because I was trying to get into my new role, and I was probably busy just trying to learn kind of on the job training, whereas before I was trying to draw on some of the knowledge and looking how I could get my interview skills a little bit better, and probably similar for the people who was sponsoring as well. So my first sponsee, Gary, kind of we helped him to focus and kind of got him into the role he wanted to be in. And I think it just naturally comes to an end. I think even if it doesn't, I think I always try to feed back to my sponsees so they don't feel awkward with myself as well, and just say every now and again, just check in to say, do you think this is still working? And maybe force that conversation to make sure they don't feel a little bit awkward. And I think if you're open and honest and you've got that good relationship that you meet up regularly, I think it's okay. But I do know situations with other people that they're being paired with people and it hasn't quite worked, and that's okay as well. The 1HS finance team are really good, and they will like match you with somebody else. And I think it's good to do that if you don't think that the person's right for you, because obviously they're the person that's champion for you, and sometimes you need the right fit really. And I think you just know yourself, and you do have that initial meeting with people, and you can have that conversation. I think you get a feel if you're going to fit with people or not. But it is fine to swap. It's better to swap if you don't think it's right.
Yeah, and for anyone that's interested, when I started, I had a meeting with 2 potential sponsors initially to sort of decide which one would be best. And at that point in time, I went for the sponsor that I thought might challenge me a bit more. And there was one that I thought would be really supportive and really good from that perspective. Another sponsor that I thought might challenge me and push me a bit more, and I needed the challenge at that point in time. That relationship ended just naturally, and then I've got a new sponsor now, which is a different relationship, a different type of challenge and support, because I'm in a different space in my career and I need something different from that sponsor. So I agree in terms that it's good to change, but sometimes the same sponsor might work for someone over a longer period. Other people will change as their goals and objectives change in that relationship. But thank you, Jenny. So we have hugely overrun, so I'm going to move over to the breakout sessions now. So I am going, I will just put Aoife has shared the links to the sessions in the room, in the chat. So if you could join one of them, and we'll rejoin this room at 5 past. So that will give us 15 minutes in the breakout sessions, and then we'll come back in and share feedback from the session. So if you could just agree in the room who's going to give that feedback, and I will see you all in 15 minutes.
series of modules for their outward training so that they're taken out to budget holders. It's your standard budget holder training, but includes elements for income, costing, charitable funds, procure to pay. She said it's working well, but they want to look at making it more fun. They are using the HFMA operating game as well, and just trying to get involvement with that, because the feedback, obviously, after people have done that is really, really positive. Philippa also told us about something that Thames are doing, which I really, really liked the idea of. So their budget holders have to have attended their training in order to gain their licence to be a budget holder, which I think is a really, really good motivation. So I am going to try and tap into that, get a bit more information. I can see Suzanne nodding, like, yes, I'll share it with you. There was then, on the flip side of that, so Sharon from the Christie, she's in financial services. And there was a bit of a query about how they log their hours. So obviously for financial services, they're not necessarily going out to speak to budget holders, but obviously we all know that time of year, is approaching when they get financial management in to tell them how they're going to go through the process this year. And so it's a bit of difficulty because they can't necessarily log those hours as face, because it's not clinical. So I think that's definitely something that needs looking at. But yeah, across the board, again, just really positive when it comes to face. So I think the more people we can get involved, the better.
Great, thank you. And anyone from any of the other rooms would like to feedback? Adam?
Yeah, so we had the Software Skills Innovation Group. So we spent all of our time talking about AI and Copilot and how it's been used in different organizations. We talked about some of these sort of concerns around sort of information governance and making sure not putting sensitive information in there, but also actually how powerful it is to sort of transform information. So there's an example of standardizing job descriptions based on sort of the what do you call it, I've lost my words now.
The skills framework.
Skills framework, that's the one. So consolidating that for different staff groups and different roles, and using AI to do some of that donkey with that legwork to actually reduce the task down in time. So we're using it to summarize meeting notes, and to looking at updating processes and redesigning processes. So giving it some information and then asking it to spit out a potentially better way of working. We also highlighted that there was a really good course on the One NHS Finance process redesign with the AI, which I think runs, almost monthly. So we talked a lot about the sort of how we can use AI in our sort of roles just to save time and to actually do some of that research and consolidation of information. I don't think any of us really used it much for calculating anything financy wise. It's been mainly about words and sort of summarizing other documents. But I think that's broadly what we're going through, sort of championing how we can use Copilot and things in our day-to-day working lives.
I think that's helpful. I think we will have some of the best practice sessions next year on AI and the use of technology. I know I was on an FSD assessment yesterday, so I voice recorded all the interviews, put it through a transcriber on my phone, and then put that back into ChatGPT to write the minutes and pull out the best practice and areas for escalation for each meeting, and pulled out things that I forgot. But then as soon as it pointed it out, which was like, yeah, they did talk about that, and that was a bit of an issue there, or yeah, that is a really good practice. And it summarized it in a way that even though people use different language, it was pulling them all out. It's like, actually, there is a theme running through, and it was easier to spot the theme with the AI summarized version than it was with the original notes. But obviously, being in the interview, you knew it was genuine and it was there. So I think it is a really powerful tool. And as so being dyslexic, I struggle to make notes and talk and listen and engage in the same meeting. So it's really useful for me that I don't have to stress about making notes. But I think, how do I embed it, and how do you use it, and how do you get the most out of it, which I think are still big unknowns for me. And I think there's the digital issues that not everyone has the same access and the ability to use it in the same way, which is a bit frustrating sometimes.
Yeah, that is one of the key areas is licensing. And it probably costs probably around £25 per person per month. But if you build work that out to be actually how many hours would you save each month, it does pay for itself. But it is going to be an extra cost to the organisation.
Yeah, absolutely. But I suppose, there's admin roles. We don't, how many people have PAs and sort of those them centralized admin roles that we've all just absorbed. So personally, I think it's value for money, but
I do as well.
Anyway, let's move on to the next group. So we've got the EDI group and the health and wellbeing group. So Mo, do you want to go for the EDI group?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Gavin. So we had a sort of discussion around what each individual sort of trust is doing at the moment. So I think we're sort of doing similar things within sort of the EDI group. So just sharing different communications. I think we all receive various emails and information around EDI and sort of what sessions are sort of happening, training sessions, etc. So we're always trying to email around the teams to make people aware and just sharing sort of best practice and just providing further information and awareness. Other things that we're doing as well as social events, so to try and keep things interesting and sort of keep it inclusive for everyone, and just keep it a bit more fun, and just encouraging more engagement within EDI. There's so us at Stockport, we're sharing monthly calendars, so just trying to share best practice and further awareness of like awareness days and celebrations and things that are happening within the trust and within like with other departments. And then some people are also taking like a personal interest in just trying to get a better understanding of different types of EDI, including like neurodiversity and ADHD, and just expanding their knowledge. Thank you.
Suzanne, did you have your hand up for the health and wellbeing group?
I did, yeah. Thanks, Gavin. Yeah, so we got together, and I think overall we spoke about how much we enjoyed Sarah and Ellie's session earlier on, and we were discussing how some of us struggle with the lack of engagement within our trust, especially if there's only one or two within the team. So we bounced some ideas around about how we would try and get a bit of engagement up. I know we spoke about that more on the larger group earlier on. But I think overall we all agreed that incorporating the Teams channel within our trust to discuss health and wellbeing and just to open up to the wider thing, because I think a lot of it sometimes is death by email, and a lot of people they just bypass those kind of emails. So we just thought if we try and go down the Teams channel route. And I know one thing was brought up, Sarah. I know I'm just taking this from you, but you mentioned about a steps challenge, and it was about a Santa's sleigh step challenge that you were looking at doing. So I've made a note of that, and I've been looking at how many steps to the North Pole from Liverpool, but yeah, far too many to get through. But it's things like that. So we were just bouncing some nice ideas off around each other about how we get more involvement from wider departments. So yeah, it was very interesting.
Do you think we could do steps as a northwest to the north?
I think so, because I've worked out, so it's 2,528 miles. So it works out at 84 miles a day. And I think between us all, we could get involved. We get our teams involved and we can smash it.
I think that might be a worthwhile challenge.
Yeah, I think that'd be really
get something
good.
set up.
Yeah.
Between the 1st of December and Christmas. But thank you for that. That's helpful. I'll look in, see if I can get you to set something up. But okay, thank you for your feedback. That's the end of today's session. So we've gone from overrunning to finishing a bit early, so you can have 5 minutes back before your next meeting. The meeting format for next year is going to continue the same. I think overall, given restrictions, there's a bit of a pushback to stream down the meetings, but we'll hopefully be keeping these as at least having 3 to 4 of these a year in the same format, because I feel like it's working quite well, and it's the subgroups are giving us the discussion and networking we need from this network. So we're going to try and keep it the same unless anyone's got any major concerns. I'm going to put all the transcribed transcription from today in AI and try and get some notes and stuff after this call. So hopefully get this, we'll get the slides that people are willing to share and everything sent out to the group sort of later today or tomorrow. I am going to try and maybe put a last minute Christmas quiz in for sometime in December. So I've probably left it a bit late, but I will try and get some time in to organise that. So I will send it out to this group and through the FSD network. It's probably a bit late to put on the events page now, but I will try and get something out before the end of next week if anyone's interested in that. And if I don't see you all in December, have a nice Christmas, and I will see you all in the new year. So I will see you soon.
Thanks, Gavin.
Thanks, Gavin.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you